Hello! Today I'm going to take a look at this Marabu Aqua Graphics ink set. I've been meaning to do this video for quite a while and I kept putting it off because other things got in the way, but I'm definitely doing it today. So let's get into it. I'll open it all up and we'll check out what's inside. It looks like it comes with 6 15ml bottles and a paintbrush. Okay, so here's the paintbrush. A number 4. I want to call it a round brush, a pointy brush, I'm blanking on the name of it, but yes, one of those ones. And in here we have all of the inks in these very cute little jars. So I'll pull them all out and get rid of the cardboard. I'm just going to put that into the recycling. I don't think I need to keep it in the studio, and probably that too. So here they all are, making a very pretty thumbnail. In the colour range we have magenta, vermilion, lemon, mint, okay, that's an interesting name for it, cyan, and a black. So a bit about the inks. They are made in Germany, apparently they're light fast, and they're water soluble, so even when they're dry they will re-wet, because they are a watercolour ink, not an India ink or something like that. They come in 14 colours. I can't find the pigment numbers, so I honestly do not know what the pigment numbers are. I'm just going to guess as to what they are. If you do know, please let me know in the comments below and I'll post it into the description if there's a link somewhere, because I can't find it just doing a quick Google search now. So I've dug out my Etcher sketchbook. I have been trying to get through this thing, but it's taking forever, and I've drawn in a grid with all 6 colours. I've left a bit of space just in case I pick up any more, because the art shop does sell these as singles and I might want to pick a few more colours up. I did think about getting all 14, but right now I just can't be bothered spending the money, so I think the 6 will do, and that should give us at least a decent idea as to whether they're any good or not. So let me swatch them out and then I will do an artwork with them. Right, I wet the paper a bit just to help the ink run, and I'm starting off here with magenta. As you can see, it is fabulous. I'd say it's a quinacridone magenta, just going by the colour and other quinacridone magentas that I've had. This reminded me a lot actually of the Schmincke Aqua Drops. They behaved in a very similar manner and had the same level of saturation, so I really liked it. Gorgeous colour. I did paint over them a few times. I should have left spaces between these, but I just went one after the other and you will see how much of a mess I make. But that vermilion is also really intense and a gorgeous reddy orange colour. I really like this one too. And it's handy to have that warm vermilion with the cool magenta. It makes for a nice palette. The lemon yellow is very nice. I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's a PY3, but don't quote me on that, and do let me know once again if you do find the pigment numbers, because I'm really curious. The mint is definitely a phthalo green, and I think I decided it was a phthalo green yellow shade rather than the blue shade, but it sort of looks a bit bluish in some shots, so that one was hard to tell. Cyan is completely obvious when we see it come out. Look at that, that is a phthalo blue, and that's a phthalo blue green shade rather than the red shade. How can you see it going into the vermilion? Oh dear! I did get a tissue to try and blot it off, and the vermilion lifted really easily, although that phthalo blue is always a staining colour. And the black is a really nice one. It was to the warmer side, so I'm going to guess it's a Mars black. And although it's very dark, it did feel quite transparent to me, or translucent. You can see it down there. Here are my lovely dried messy swatches. That'll teach me for not waiting and just painting them all side by side, but I think we get the idea at least of what the colours look like. They're incredibly vibrant and they're very runny. There's no granulation whatsoever that I can see. I've got masking fluid on my finger here. So as always, the best way to test out colours is to do an artwork. And I was trying to think of something to do. I was looking at the box and I've been kind of inspired by these jellyfish, so I thought I would paint a jellyfish on the page next to this, and hopefully we will get something with these colours. I'll try and use all of the colours, or as close to all of them as I can. There's the masking fluid that I had stuck to my fingers. I masked out some of the tentacles beforehand because I knew I would just get the ink everywhere, and you can just see how much it runs. Boy, those colours are so vibrant. I did not really water these down, I just painted them straight onto the paper, although you can see I did wet the paper first just to get a bit of movement, and I also tried a dropper just to get a lot more of that ink on there. If you add a lot of water, because the inks are very translucent, they will dilute out into a much paler shade, but you know me, I like to have really dark, intense, vibrant colours, so these inks were perfect for me. I then painted the jellyfish with a mix of the magenta, the vermilion and the yellow, and made various shades of orange and reds out of it, so they mixed well, no issues here. Though I did find that the yellow was the weakest of all of them and I had to use quite a few layers of it. You could see it layers up really well, but of all of the colours I used, that lemon yellow seemed to take about twice as much ink as everything else to get the same amount of coverage. I realised about this point that I'd actually made a bit of a mess of the design, so I went in with some of the green and blue to add that water behind the jellyfish, and then it actually looked more like a jellyfish with tentacles rather than just a huge yellow blob. And you can see I've taken off the masking fluid for the tentacles. They were a bit messy, but I was able to paint that vermilion straight onto them without having to paint over green and blue, which would have looked really bad. You could see how pale the lemon yellow went when it had dried, so I did cover it all with another generous layer of it, but I didn't cover everything because I wanted to have some different levels of yellow, so pale yellow with a much brighter yellow over the top to give it a bit more interest and value. Getting value out of yellow is really difficult because it is such a light and bright colour. Now I really didn't need to use the black in this, but I decided I would for the purposes of this video, so I painted a bit of an outline, not over the whole jellyfish, but just to delineate some areas which had kind of merged in with the background. And I think it helped, although it wasn't particularly necessary in my opinion. But it did help go over some of the lines where the vermilion had touched onto the blue and made a bit of a mess, so that was good. It covered up a few of my mistakes. I also used some white ink as well, not in the set, but it needed some white highlights, and you can see I'm going in with a pen here. It makes just quite a lot of difference, I think, to have those juicy highlights, and it just tends to finish off a picture and really bring it to life. Here I am finished. These were fun to use and very bright, although I did lose control of them in a few spots, but I did enjoy them. They're very transparent, and I did feel like I needed to use some of my white pen just to bring up some highlights at the end. but I would recommend them. I think they're really good if you like these sorts of things. I will be adding this lot into my drawer full of watercolour inks, so I think I probably got enough now, although maybe I'd pick up a brown or a couple more earthy colours just to go in with these super bright colours. Just a recap of the swatches, which ended up being quite a mess. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I had a lot of fun painting this. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button, and I will see you all again really soon for my next video. Have a wonderful day. Swatch you later. Bye!